Are you hoping for a white Christmas this year, the kind that actually feels like Christmas with snow on the ground? It's 2025. While some unlikely areas have already seen snow, that doesn't mean it'll last. One pattern shift brings warmer Grinch-style temperatures that change everything. In 2 minutes, I'll show you historical odds of white Christmas in your area. At 5 minutes, you'll learn about record-breaking warmth coming before the holiday. At 7 minutes, I'll reveal which areas still have a shot at snow Christmas morning. First, let me define what we're talking about. According to the National Weather Service, a white Christmas means at least 1 inch of snow on the ground December 25th. Snow doesn't need to be falling Christmas Day, just needs to be present. That's why areas prone to early snowpack, northern United States, and higher elevations have major advantage. Once snow accumulates, it sticks around, increasing white Christmas chances significantly. Everywhere else, window closing fast. With no established snowpack, white Christmas depends almost entirely on winter storm arriving at just the right moment. As Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Time for snow and time for warmth. We're hoping this brings snow for Christmas. Best way to gauge odds. Look back in history at how often white Christmases occurred over the last century. This map shows historical probability across the United States. The patterns are striking. Most striking, extremely low probability zone across southern United States, where chances often below 10%. Some cases, down to 0. While southern white Christmas is rare, not impossible. Notable example, December 1989 storm brought significant snow to Charleston, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia. Exceptionally rare and historic. Snow even reported far south as Tampa, Florida. Imagine Tampa with Christmas snow. Other rare southern events: South Texas 2004, Tennessee 2020, Alabama 2010. But 1989 remains legendary for widespread impacts in very low percentage region. Farther north, probabilities increase to 20% range across New York City, Cincinnati, St. Louis. Uncommon, but happens occasionally. Midwest and Northeast cities like Chicago and Boston, 30 to 50% range. Basically, coin flip. Upper Midwest, like Minnesota, 60 to 70% range. White Christmas more expected than not. Highest probability areas, 90% range, where snow on ground Christmas is essentially norm. Lack of snow would be real anomaly. Elevation plays larger role, which is why Rocky Mountains stand out with significantly higher odds. Now that we know what usually happens, real question: how does 2025 compare? Answer: tale of two completely different winters. Roughly 70% of U.S. running below average snowfall, only 30% above average. Western United States and Central Plains struggled keeping snowpack and seasonal totals on track, while Midwest core, Great Lakes, parts of Northeast saw a very different story. Snowfall well above normal thanks to repeated storm tracks and persistent cold. Sharp divide highlights how uneven this winter's been. Winners and losers separated by only few hundred miles, but story doesn't end with who has snow now. Over next week, some areas that built snowpack may lose it quickly as warmer air moves in. Others shut down so far could get last-second shot if storm track lines up right. Everything depends on how next few storms evolve. Timing, temperature profiles, hyperlocal specifics. What if some areas could see 30 to 35 degrees above average right before Christmas? That's exactly what's coming. Let's break down who could see snow before Christmas and whose snow melts before the big holiday. Future radar shows where snow and rain fall before and during Christmas. Friday and Saturday, small Alberta Clipper crosses Great Lakes. Dumps coating to 1-inch snow across Wisconsin, Upper Peninsula Michigan, eventually through New England, late Saturday into early Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, West Coast hammered by powerful atmospheric river. Lots of rain, lower elevations, heavy mountain snow, higher elevations. Continues Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Christmas Eve weather pattern gets very interesting. High pressure developing southern plains and southeast builds lot of warmth. Possibly one of warmest Christmas days in past several years. West Coast continues seeing lots of moisture from Pacific. Anywhere along coastal, even Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Arizona, in for treat with rain and snow both Christmas Eve and day. Christmas Eve, when Santa flies with reindeer over U.S. East Coast, pretty quiet. Not much happening. West Coast, lots of rain, lots of snow. As Psalm 147 says, He giveth snow like wool, He sendeth out His word, and melteth them. We're seeing both giving snow and melting across different parts of country. Christmas Day, Alberta Clipper crosses upper Midwest and northern plains. Morning hours, North Dakota sees light snowfall. West Coast could have pretty intense low offshore hammering San Francisco area with heavy rain and high winds. Keeping close eye on this. Late Christmas Day, snow continues upper Midwest, maybe little snowfall New England. These two areas I'm watching for Christmas Day possibilities. Plus higher elevations West Coast where snow looks pretty likely. After Christmas, some snow. Possibly New England, maybe another system western half of U.S. Could lead to big storm east of Rockies approaching New Year. Major problem. Anybody with snow on ground now might not have it by Christmas. Going into abnormally warm pattern before Christmas, really warm, possibly record-breaking heat. Climate Prediction Center has nearly entire country forecasted above average temps 23rd through 27th. Very warm period upcoming. How dramatic this flip. Currently Arctic air across Midwest and Ohio Valley. By weekend, warm air pulls into Ohio Valley and Great Lakes. Another brief cold shot, Saturday into Sunday across Great Lakes and Northeast. Monday and Tuesday, unbelievable. Areas with temps as high as 30 to 35 degrees above average. Complete flip from last week when Minnesota and Wisconsin were 35 to 45 degrees below average. Flipping script right around Christmas. Not much end in sight to heat wave until probably just after Christmas. Very mild and hot Christmas for millions. These are the high temperatures forecasted for Christmas Eve. Notice areas even in central Illinois will be as warm as 65 degrees. Des Moines will probably be right around 50 to 55 degrees as well. All of Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas in the 70s and 80s. Back over in the southeast, it's going to be pretty warm as well. Christmas Day, though, is going to be unbelievably warm. We're talking about areas as far north as Kansas City being 73 degrees. You're going to think we're still in springtime in these areas, even back over in Indiana, 60 degrees. Ohio, in the 50s. It's just going to be unbelievable how warm it's going to be on Christmas Day. Get ready for a pretty warm one. We do not need winter jackets anywhere south, basically, of South Dakota. Back over in Minnesota and Wisconsin, even pretty warm for this time of year, with many areas reaching the 30s for high temperatures. As of Thursday, this is about the approximate snow depth across the United States. Notice how the majority of snow we have on the ground right now is across the Ohio Valley, Northeast, Midwest, and Northern Plains. And obviously the Rocky Mountains. But once we get closer to Christmas, a lot of that snow is going to melt off. If you're in the Ohio Valley, most of the snow's already probably melted there. But there might still be a little bit left on the ground. Temperatures have warmed up quite a bit over the last few days. Unfortunately, as we get closer to Christmas Eve, we're going to be talking about really very little to no snow anywhere in the Ohio Valley or across the southeast or the southern or central plains. Back over in the northeast, there will still be some snow on the ground, especially in those higher elevations in northern New England. The upper Midwest and northern plains, you guys are probably going to have some snow on the ground as well. We already have a lot of snow there. A little bit more snow is coming over the next few days and also right around Christmas time. Through the Rockies, that's where we have a load of snow on the ground. Especially a lot of what has actually fallen over the last week or so from those powerful atmospheric river events. Right around and just after Christmas, there is a chance we could get a fresh dose of snow back over in the Northeast. We could actually have a widespread 3+ inches of snowfall in New England if we're able to see the correct storm track. But again, things could still change over the next few days. Keep that in mind. As Proverbs chapter 16 verse 9 says, "A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps." We plan for white Christmas, but the weather patterns ultimately direct what happens. When you put this all together, the picture becomes a lot more clear on who's going to see a white Christmas this year. To start, if you're anywhere in the desert, Southwest, Southern Plains, Southeast, and Mid-Atlantic, womp womp, because your chances are essentially zero. Unless you head to the beach and settle for white sand instead. On the other side of the spectrum, if you're in the Rockies, far northern plains, upper Midwest, or Northeast, you're doing better than the Kansas City Chiefs making the playoffs this year. The odds strongly favor a white Christmas. Snow is already piled up in these regions. With colder conditions locked in, there's very little that would come together and take that snow away before the holiday. But for everyone in between those two zones, the forecast is a lot less settled. Warmer temperatures could erode what little snow does fall. The timing and track of these next few systems will ultimately decide whether you wake up to green grass or a fresh blanket of snow on Christmas morning. Here's what you need to know for your specific area. If you're in the Rockies and higher elevations, you're golden. Snow is already deep, more is coming from the atmospheric river. Christmas will definitely be white for you. Upper Midwest and Northern Plains, Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Dakotas, you've got excellent odds. Snow is already on the ground, more light snow possible Christmas Day from that clipper. You should be good. Northeast, especially northern New England and higher elevations, good chances. You've got snow now. That potential system right after Christmas could add more. Not guaranteed everywhere, but looking decent. Great Lakes region, it's gonna be close. You have snow now, but that warm-up could melt a lot of it. Depends on exactly how warm it gets and whether that post-Christmas system brings you fresh snow. Ohio Valley. Unfortunately, most of your snow is already melting. Unless something changes dramatically, you're looking at a green Christmas. Mid-Atlantic, Southeast, Southern Plains, essentially zero chance. The warmth is too strong. No snow in the forecast. Christmas will be green and warm. West Coast lower elevations rain, not snow, but you knew that already. Mountains get plenty of snow though. For the record-breaking warmth coming, here's what to expect. Monday and Tuesday next week bring the peak of this heat wave, 30 to 35 degrees above average in many locations. Kansas City hitting 73 on Christmas Day. That's warmer than many spring days. Central Illinois at 65. Des Moines in the 50s. All of Arkansas, Missouri, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas in the 70s and 80s. This isn't just a little warm. This is significantly unusually warm for Christmas. The good news? If you're traveling for Christmas, weather conditions look excellent for most of the country. Warm and quiet, easy travel. The bad news? If you wanted snow, you're out of luck unless you're in those northern tier states or mountains. That West Coast storm on Christmas Day bears watching too. If it develops as forecast, San Francisco area could see heavy rain and high winds. Not ideal if you're traveling there. The Alberta Clipper Christmas morning brings light snow to North Dakota and upper Midwest. Not a big storm, just enough to freshen things up for those areas. Post-Christmas, that potential New England system could bring 3+ inches. Still uncertain on exact track and timing, but it's something to watch if you're in that region. Looking beyond Christmas toward New Year's, there's potential for a bigger storm system to develop east of the Rockies. Too early for details, but the pattern suggests active weather heading into early January. The warmth continues through the end of December. That heat wave doesn't really break until after Christmas, so enjoy it if you like warm weather, suffer through it if you wanted winter. Alaska and British Columbia continue cold and active. The pattern split continues, warm in lower 48, cold up north. The western atmospheric river pattern persists through the holidays. More rain, more mountain snow, more flooding concerns for lower elevations. If you're in flood-prone areas along the west coast, stay alert. Rivers are already high. More rain coming. Monitor conditions closely. The bottom line on White Christmas 2025, it's going to be rare outside the northern tier and mountains. That warm-up kills chances for most of the country. But there's still hope for a few areas. Those Clipper systems could deliver. That northeast storm could materialize. Things can still change. Stay tuned to the forecast over the next few days. The details will become clearer as we get closer. In tomorrow's forecast, I'll have updates on that Christmas Day system timing, the exact temperature forecasts for your area, and whether that post-Christmas northeast snow looks more or less likely. A rare Christmas weather pattern is indeed coming. But it's rare because it's so warm, not because it's snowy. For most Americans, Christmas 2025 will be green and mild. For a fortunate few in the north and mountains, it'll be white and cold. And remember, as the psalmist wrote, whether snow or sun, warm or cold, it all reflects the Creator's hand. Stay safe, enjoy your Christmas, whatever the weather brings. Until tomorrow.